Good morning, 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 good morning from around the world. I see everybody in Japan, Canada, United States, Germany, Lord, Australia. Thank you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We changed the music up because why? We're not going to stop the party. Happy holiday, everybody. Just getting back from Seattle, Washington, visiting my cousins, a weather report up there, eating some great food. Hey, I want to thank you all for being on the call today. I know it's a holiday for some of you, but some of us, we're still out working, and I'm actually out working out, just getting finished. I told Miss Ismail I would not be properly attired with a shirt with a collar on it today because I just leaving my workout. But anyway, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Like the music say, don't stop the party. Pitbull, I love it. I love it. Hey, I want to thank you all for coming on the call today. Well, you know what? She's not going to stop the party because she's going to continue it on. And then tomorrow morning, we've got Mr. Julian Lewis, who will be continuing on the party. And then on Wednesday, we've got Mr. Miles from the corporate, from Vivid. And Thursday, we got back-to-back Friday. Oh my God, we got Mr. Michael Crowd on Friday. We're gonna have a great week this week. Hey, listen, I know some of you are off today. That's wonderful, wonderful, great way to build your business and start financial freedom on your way. Let me explain our speaker, excuse me. She's in for every Monday in the month of September. And this is the first Monday of September, and she's jacked up, fired up, ready to go. I just talked to her a few minutes ago. You know who she is. She lives down in Fresno, California. Her husband and her flip gas stations. Graduated from college with 2 degrees, excuse me. Not one, but 2. And started her own business by the time she was 26 years old. Found out that's not where I want to be. And the situation with all this craziness closed her business down a little bit. And she opened it back up like, I don't need this headache. And want to have a business that will allow her and her husband to start a family. She has 2 lovely dogs. Furball, she calls them. No, yeah, her 2 furball babies. Sometimes she holds them in her arm when she's not speaking, but trust me, if she's speaking, she locks them up in the room down the hall or up in the bedroom somewhere so she can get through the message. So without further ado, we all know and love her. She's no stranger. She does the own Wednesday call, which we all get on there and support and also get IBOs on. Today, she is our first official Monday in our September. Without further ado, from Fresno, California, the superstar boss lady herself, live and living color, Miss Natasha Ismail. Yay!
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Good morning, everyone. See all these beautiful faces on here. Everyone's like ready to go. I love this. I love it. I think we're gonna have way too much fun. We might get kicked off Zoom for having too much fun. But thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for having me on. And when I got that phone call to be asked to be on here every Monday, not gonna lie, I hesitated. I was going to say, are you sure? But I take it as a privilege and an honor to even be asked, Mr. Thomas. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, dear. Now, forgive me I'm going to be listening. I'm going to get it on the speakerphone in the car, but forgive me, I'm going to take my picture off as I drive, okay? But
I'll let it slide.
All right, thank you.
All right, so everyone, before we get started, of course, I want to give it back to Mr. Thomas for allowing me to be on this call today and to speak with all of you and to officially start off the first Monday in September. And what a lineup we had. I mean, if we look at last week, this is definitely a September to remember. Mr. Julian Lewis killed it and killed it and killed it and then ran over it again. Yes, exactly. Caroline is like out of her seat. I love it. And all of these can we just take a second to look back? It's been so amazing. Miss Jocelyn Driscoll, she smashed it, knocked it out of the park. Just, it has been such an amazing week. And then Shaquille Cooper was just on fire. It was ridiculous. So today, hopefully I can deliver a message that is going to hit at least someone, and it's going to change everything in your business and definitely be a September to remember. So before we get going, I want everyone to just take a second and just be present. Because I know what happens is we get on the call sometimes we're doing other things. There's a lot of people with their cameras off. And I mean, no one knows if, they're listening or if they're doing something, but today's Labor Day. And there's a lot of people that are still, taking advantage of the holiday, things like that. But you all decided to be here. So for a second, you should be proud of yourself because that means you're a champion and you're here for a reason. So Does everybody know what this is? It's a teacup, right? It's a beautiful teacup. So what I want to do is start off with the story. Now, some of you have heard it, some of you haven't, and I know Caroline's like super excited today and she knows the story. I love it. So there was a couple in England and they would go to these little antique shops all over to go searching for teacups. They loved collecting teacups. So it was their 25th anniversary and they went into a store and they saw this beautiful teacup there. This beautiful teacup had pictures on it. It had flowers, designs. It had gold rim. It had everything. Beautiful teacup. And so they said, can we see that teacup, please? And so the lady picked it up and she gave it to them. She said, of course, here you are. Now, as soon as she got the teacup started talking to her. And it said, you don't understand. I didn't always look this way. And there was a time where I was just a pile of clay. But my master took me and he rolled me and he patted me all over. And I would yell, leave me alone, leave me alone. And he would just smile and he said, not yet. Then he placed me on a spinning wheel. He put water on me and suddenly he spun me around and around and around. And I was getting so dizzy. And I said, please let me go. And he just said, not yet. And he patted me and he shaped me and he molded me. And then he put me into an oven as if I thought it couldn't get any worse. He put me into an oven and I was knocking on the door. I was screaming to let me out. It was burning in there and I thought I wasn't going to make it. And I could see him through the glass and all he said was, not yet. And then he took me out. And I was surprised because I made it. And when he put me on the shelf, I finally began to cool. And then I thought to myself, that's better. And then he brushed me and he painted me. And the fumes from the paint were so much. And I thought I couldn't breathe. And I cried for him to stop it. And he just looked at me and he said, not yet, with a smile on his face. And then suddenly he put me back into an oven. But this one was different. This one was twice as hot. This wasn't like the first one, and I definitely thought I wasn't going to make it. The first one, I made it through, but this one, I was going to need a miracle to be pulled through this amount of heat. And I was screaming, and again, I saw him through the window, and he said, not yet. And then I knew there wasn't any hope, that I would not make it, and I was ready to give up. And as soon as I was ready to give up, he opened the door. And as soon as he opened the door, he put me back on the shelf. And then 1 hour later, he handed me a mirror and he said, look at yourself. And I did. And I said, that's not me. That could never be me. I was just a lump of clay. What is this? What is this that you're showing me? What is that? Who is that? And then he said, I want you to remember, I know that it hurt to be rolled and to be patted and to be left alone and to be put into the oven over and over again. But if I would have left you there, you would have just dried up. And I know when I put you on the spinning wheel, it made you so dizzy, but if I would have stopped, you would have crumbled. And I knew it hurt and it was hot and disagreeable in the oven, but if I hadn't put you in there, you would have cracked. And I know the fumes were bad when I brushed and painted all over, but if I hadn't done that, you would have never hardened. You would have not had any color in your life. And if I hadn't put you back in the second oven, you wouldn't have survived for very long because the hardness would have left. And now you're a finished product and you're exactly what I had in mind. So now I want you to think for a second to your own life. How many times have you been rolled? How many times have you been patted down? How many times have you been put into an oven and you just thought you weren't going to make it, and then for a second you come out of it and you have some relief, and then you get put back into an oven? And it's even worse. That situation's even worse than the first one. You're like, are you serious right now? It's even worse than the first one. And you thought you weren't going to make it. But every single time you made it through. Every single time you went through something and you thought you couldn't make it, here you came out on the other end looking beautiful, just like a teacup. So there's something that I've said before, and I know Mr. Julian Lewis remembers this, that if you woke up this morning, he's not done with you. So if he was done with you, you would not have woken up this morning. Mr. King, literally running into burning buildings. So literally describing his life right now. But I just want you to imagine that. And if you're not dead, you're not done. Listen to me again. If you're not dead, you're not done. And the greatest is yet to come. Write that down, because I know everyone's taking notes. So what am I trying to tell you? That you are a masterpiece. You are that teacup. You are that bundle of clay. And for a second, let's give this analogy to Mr. Thomas. He is the person that's molding the clay. There's been times where he's said things, I mean, I've cried, or he's said things and I've been so happy, and it's like, you know, one test after another, one test after another. But guess what? What is he doing with us? Right? He's patting us, he's rolling us, he puts us in an oven, right? And then he takes us back out, and then this is what we're gonna end up looking like, the teacup. But without going through all those things, you cannot come out looking like a teacup. Think about it. All the greats that we know in life, how many people are there statues for that never went through anything, that had a super easy life? And none. Mr. Lewis is like, none. Why did they make a statue of Rocky? Why are there statues of all of these people? Because they went through so many things. And the world recognizes all of the things that they had to go through, all of their trials and tribulations that they had to go through. And without those, they would not be called champions. Now, you understand there are billions with a B of people all around the world, and out of millions of swimmers, you made it. You made it. And no one on earth is exactly how you are. Nobody has gone through exactly what you went through. Nobody has grown up exactly where you did, in an exact house that you did, with the exact parents that you did. Catch my drift? That story. Nobody has your story, and that is your superpower. That's what makes you a masterpiece, is that only you have gone through your journey. Other people can just look at it, they can just admire it, but no one's gone through it. Now, there's a lot of people that try to run away from their story. So I used to be one of those people. I would not, you know, embrace where I came from or anything like that. And I mean, when you're young, you don't really, all you see is people in school, you know, all the you know, rich, popular kids, and, oh, look at this car, look at that car, and all that stuff, right? So I was just like that. I was like, I wouldn't talk about my past, you know, wouldn't talk about anything like that. But it's not going to help you to run from your past. It's not going to help you to criticize it. It's not going to help you to curse it. It's not going to help you to get mad at the universe or God or whoever you believe in. It's not going to help any of that, because you have a unique story, but you have to upgrade the current version of you. So some of you might be the lump of clay right now. Some of you might be in the patting stages. Some of you might be in the rolling stages, and some of you might be in the oven stages. Some of you might be out of the oven. Some of you might be in the fumes of all the beautiful paint that you're getting painted on you. But then guess what? There's still a second oven after that, isn't there? So some of you might be in that second oven. But no matter what, you can't get up and run from it, because you're being molded to become a teacup. You're being molded. So you have to upgrade that current version of you and embrace who you are. You have to embrace your story. You have to embrace your journey, because guess what? Nobody has that journey but you. Nobody was given that journey but you. And how can you complain about being a masterpiece when you know it's okay if you're a lump of clay right now? That's okay. But if you know what you're going to end up as, you wouldn't be worried about it. If you know, that's where faith comes in. Knowing that you're going to make it even when you can't see it. If you could see it, we wouldn't need faith. You have to embrace it. You have to admire it. You have to take care of it. You have to love it. You have to upgrade it and watch what happens. Because guess what? Every artist makes a masterpiece, and every artist has a different style. Now, does everybody in the world love that style? No. There's a lot of people that don't love Picasso, right? Some of us don't even know who Picasso is. A lot of people, there's so many different artists, but not everybody loves their style. So you have to understand the teacup that you're going to become, not everyone is going to love it. And guess what? You don't have to care. And Mr. Julian Lewis is notorious for this with talking about David Goggins. When you get to that place mentally, when you truly don't care what people think about you, you become dangerous. And it doesn't have to be in a bad way, but dangerous to the point of getting out of your own way, stepping out of your own fear and stepping into your future. You step out of your fear and into your future. Because guess what? That's like being on the state borderlines. You cannot completely be in the state of your future with having one foot in the state of fear. You have to have both feet planted on the state of the future. But you get to decide where you want to move. And guess what? You cannot ask the universe to move you. You cannot ask the universe to move you forward, to move your steps. You can't ask God to guide you if you're not willing to move your feet. So if you don't plan on moving your feet, don't even ask him. He has a lot of other stuff to do. But when you're ready, and when you're ready for your steps to be guided, then you let him know and he'll be there, guaranteed. I promise you that. He always is. Because guess what? You're still above ground. So all of the things that you've been through, all of your worst days, you have such an amazing track record. Let me tell you what a masterpiece you are. You've made it through 100% of the days that you thought you never would. 100%. You've made it. So he comes through. Just remember that. Now, think about the greats. We remember Picasso. We remember Michelangelo, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, John Maxwell, Mr. Thomas, right? So for a second, I want you to think about what's different or the same about all of those people that I named, or all of the great people that you can think of. Some people call it unique. Some people call it different. Some people call it weird. Some people call them freaks. But it's greatness. Because guess what? Without being different, you can't be great. Because it takes that little bit more to be great. It takes that little bit more to come up to be average. It takes that little bit more to be good from average. It takes a little bit more to be great from good. It takes a little bit more to be outstanding. It's just that little bit more. And those people decided to do it. So people mistakenly give it that label, give greatness that label of being different. And guess what? Different is labeled as bad in our society. Growing up, how many times were you criticized for being different? Where are those people now and where are you? Kids can be mean. But people admire being different because that's greatness. People just don't know. They've just given it that label to make themselves feel better, because remember, when you surpass them and they look back at you, you are that constant reminder of the chance they never took. You are that constant reminder of where they could be, but they're not. And every single time they look at your face, you remind them of what they could have been. So the next time somebody's opinion makes a difference to you, don't let it. You can recognize it, say, okay, those are their feelings, they're not mine, and I don't want them. Give them back. It's like the lost and found. You found those thoughts or you found those opinions, they're not yours, put them back in the lost and found. You don't need that. You have a lot of work to do. If you're not dead, you're not done. You're still here. There's a reason. The greats are willing to do what other people aren't. They're willing to do the extra set, the extra rep, the extra phone call, the extra text message, the extra email. They're willing to listen to the extra video of personal development. They're willing to read that extra book. But guess what? Are you willing to be different in order to be great? Are you willing to be different in order to be great. Because we know every single person has that seed of greatness. Now, some people go throughout life and they never discover it because guess what? They never water it. They never take care of it. They never give it sunshine. That seed's not going to grow in an environment like that. But if you know you have that seed, and when you feel that gut feeling, when you just get that little like gut punch and you just know you're either on the right track or you're not, that's intuition. You've been given everything you need in order to succeed if you only realize it. You have everything it takes, but you have to step out of your fear to step into your future. You can't have both. That's like you can't make excuses and money at the same time. Pick which one you want. Same thing. Everybody has that greatness inside, but some of us just haven't woken up yet. Some of us have, some of us realize it, but we just don't know what to do. Or we don't know how to do it. But the how isn't up to you. You only need to know the what. That's it. You just have to have your goals. You just have to know what to do. So I was with my mom yesterday, and if you heard the microwave, that was her making her morning tea. And this is her first ever slumber party that we're having, okay, since I've moved out, like totally out. And she said something yesterday because we were talking about, you know, what's going on in the world and all that stuff and how every 100 years it's like something big and all that stuff. And she said, isn't it so crazy that we just had to be born during this year? We're experiencing all of this stuff that nobody's ever experienced. And I thought to myself for a second, and I said, we're not born during this year. We're born for this year. You could have been born in 1800. You could have been born in 1900. You could have been born in 1920 or 1910, or you could have been gone even before the year 2020 hit. But you're here. So when people say that we're born in this year or anything like that, no, you're born for this year. This is the moment you were born for. Because guess what? You have something that the person that did not wake up this morning has. You have something to do still. You have someone to help. You have someone that's waiting for that phone call from you in order to completely change their life. But you are letting your fear hold others from their future as well. Get yourself out of the way, because guess what? It's not about us. It's about the people that are out there. My friend that Mr. King told to text me to invite to a Denny's after I went to like 3 wrong Denny's because he didn't tell me which one. And I still went there. Why? Because I wanted more. But if he would have never reached out to me, oh, they're too successful. Oh, they're good. If he would have never reached out to me, I would have never found my home. I mean, eventually I would have, but it wouldn't have been this home maybe, right? But just imagine that. You got that text or that phone call or that invite and you showed up here. How do you feel today? How do you feel when you miss a day of listening to our senior vice president, Mr. Thomas? How do you feel? For me personally, my day is incomplete. Even on the weekend, I have to go to Destiny International on YouTube. I have to look up a video just to hear his voice that day, so it's complete. You're taking that away from someone, or you're holding that feeling from someone else. Is everyone going to get it? No, because remember, everyone is not meant for greatness. Not everyone is meant to get there. Not everyone can go where you're meant to go. But if you don't talk to them, how are we going to find them? How are we going to find the red apples? By sorting and by talking to people. Because you were made exactly for this time. And if you weren't, then you wouldn't be here. But it's up to you to realize why you were put here. And it's up to you to understand the difference that you're here to make. The difference that you're going to make for everyone. Do you want to make a local impact? Do you want to make a global impact? Do you want to be like Mr. Thomas, making a difference in all of the countries all around the world getting paid in 14 of them, but making an impact in so many more than that. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people that Mr. Thomas won't probably even ever get to meet, but has impacted. Is that how you're going to be? Are you going to be known? Are people going to know your name? Are people going to say, that's the person that changed my life? That's the person that invited me? Because I definitely say that about my friend. That's the person that completely changed my life. Just by introducing me to this opportunity. And nobody else that he had shown that night, out of about 9 or 10 people, had signed up, and we were the only ones. Because guess what? It was meant for us to hear. And you're going to have those same challenges. You're going to go through the padding phases. You're going to go through the rolling phases. You're going to be put into the oven. You're going to be put through the fumes when you're getting painted on. And then guess what? There's another oven right around the corner. But does that mean you're going to give up? Or does that mean you're going to keep going? How much persistence, how much tenacity, how much grit do you have? Because if you're that ball of clay, no matter what it goes through, if you know that you're going to end up like a teacup, you're not worried about anything else. You know that you're going to make it in the end. And you know your track record. I told you you're a masterpiece, because Mr. Thomas says God doesn't make junk, and I fully believe that. I fully believe that. Because if there was even a glimmer of that, you still wouldn't be here. But what are you going to do about it? There's people that did not wake up this morning, but you did. There's people that are praying to be in the health that you are. There's people praying to be living where you are. There's people praying for your clothes, your family, your everything, even your body. There's people praying to look like you do. Do you know that? There's people praying to look, everybody prays to look like Mr. Julian Lewis, but that's besides the point. But every single person here has that seed of greatness. But your mind is like a farm. So there's a farmer. There's a farmer, and he sees all this land. And he says, what am I going to plant here? Because whatever I plant and whatever I water and whatever I give sunshine is going to grow. So what am I going to plant? So he plants one seed of corn, and then he plants one seed of something that turns into poison. Forgot what it was. But then he waters it daily. And you know, daily sunshine, and he's taking care of the soil, things like that. Whatever you water in the field of your mind will grow. So he watered the corn, but not the other one. What do you think grew? Whichever one he watered. Just like when Mrs. Driscoll was talking and she told us, which wolf grows? The one that you feed. Just like that, your mind is a field. What are you going to plant? And remember, whatever you plant grows. And remember, if you know you have that seed of greatness that is planted, why won't you water it? How do you water that seed in the field of your mind? Personal development, books, read books, set a goal for yourself. 3 pages a day, 5 pages a day, 10 pages a day. Senior Vice President Leanne Gabriel just started something, 30 in 30 days. I don't know how many of us saw that on social media, 30 in 30 days. So you do 30 minutes of personal development over a span of 30 days. And if you miss it, you go back and start over. Just like workout programs. When you start, if you miss it, back at day 1. That's how you water that seed in the field of your mind. That's how you're going to keep growing. That's how you're going to make a difference. If you know you've been given everything that you need, if you knew you could not fail, what would you do? And we say that, and we've heard Mr. Thomas say that, but how many of us have really thought about it? If you knew that you couldn't fail, if you knew that one phone call took you one step closer to the person that's going to say yes, that's going to blow up your business, but your fear is holding you back in this state of fear, not making that phone call, how are you ever going to know what you're capable of if you don't just go for it? Life is too short to be waiting. It's too short to be waiting. You have to do it now. You have to level it up. You have to upgrade yourself, upgrade your story, embrace your story, love it. Because remember, you are not different. You're just the limited edition. And with that, Mr. Thomas, I'll go ahead and give the call back to you. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Wow, limited edition. You're so right. Time is short. I decided the other day to go Seattle, Washington, go get some fresh seafood to see my cousin. Flew up, spent the day, flew back. Why not you? Like she says, why not you? Wow. Hey, I just want to say something that's very powerful. Can we give the queen, look, I got her, look what I got for her. Can we give the queen, can we give boss lady, can we, on her head, can we give her a hand? Show her some love, show her some love, show her some love. Hey, I want to do something, an exercise, if everybody can hear me, an exercise right now. If we could do an exercise for the rest of this week until next Monday. Can we do this? From today to next Monday. I love the teacup analogy. I want everybody to pull a teacup out and put it on the counter in your kitchen. Put it on the counter in your kitchen. And every time you walk by that teacup, think about how God is molding you for this business. And who are you molding for this business? So everybody take a teacup out, put it on the counter, and every time you walk by it, remind yourself that you are that teacup being molded. And not only that, who are you molding in this business? So that's our exercise starting this today. Put one on your counter, and every time you walk by it, look at it. Say, God is still molding me. I'm getting to be a better person. And who am I molding as a leader? Who am I molding as a leader? Can we all do that? Can we all do that? Raise your hand. Let's see how many people, can we all commit to that? Mr. Payon, thank you so much. Mr. Chris King, regional director, thank you so much. Put it out there on the counter and look at it. Just look at it. Look at it. Miss Ismail's holding it up. Just look at it as you walk by for the rest until next Monday morning. After this call, you can put it away. But lay it out. And if somebody asks you, what's the teacup doing? Tell them the story. Tell them the story. You might get a couple IBOs or customers out of it, but leave it on your counter as a reminder to look at it. So sometimes the subconscious mind will pick it up. Man, Labor Day. Wow, Labor Day, Labor Day, Labor Day. What does labor stand for? L for Lord, A for blessing of rest. Labor Day. Lord, a blessing of rest. That's what Labor Day stands for in my book. Hey, I want to thank Miss Evans out there, Miss Regional Director out there in South Carolina, her husband, Mr. Curtis Evans. Good morning. I've got you guys in my prayers for all the things that have been going on out there. God bless you. Miss Evelyn Phillips, God bless you, all the regional directors. I'm going to throw them out there real quick. Mr. Brian Baker out in Las Vegas, sir, thank you so much. Good seeing you. Mr. Hussein Ismail, he's at the store, but he's on watching his lovely wife. I know he's proud of her. Miss Diane Collins in Australia, thank you so much. Ms. Kohana Hara on Japan. Mr. Payon in Japan, thank you so much. Regional Vice President Platinum, Miss Jaza Driscoll, has joined us this morning. God bless you, dear. You are amazing. Miss Luana Pinedo, thank you so much. In my prayers as well. Rose Guerrero, Chris King, you guys are amazing. I'm going to go back today and re-listen to last night's training because I was on flight coming back from Seattle. Mr. Marvin Carter, Regional Director, thank you so much. Another Regional Director, Mr. Julian Lewis, thank you for joining us. All the folks in Australia, Mexico, Canada, Japan, USA, God bless you. We'll be back tomorrow with the great Mr. Julian Lewis. Whew, man, what a way to start on Labor Day. Stands for Lord, a blessing of rest. Lord have mercy. God bless everybody. One more time, can we show Boss Lady a little more love? Come on, one more time, one more time. And she walks away with the Prince.